Great, we're back,
Yes.
and I'm trying to retrieve in my memory, which is a little leaky here, that question had to do with why I only go back or why I travel for fun.
So why do you travel?
Why do I travel, right. So I don't travel very often, even though I like to travel. The reason is, in my religious order, we are not allowed to travel to be a tourist, really. We travel to go home on home leave every 2 to 3 years, or now we go home for family emergency, and we come back after a while, and that's it. So people have often asked me, "You've not been to mainland China?" And the answer is no. And there are a couple of different reasons for that, but one reason is I don't have a salary. The salary that I make, our money, that goes back to the religious order, and we live from an allowance that we negotiate with our religious community. I'm very happy. I'm not suffering in any way at all. But I don't have personal money so that I can order a plane ticket with it. I don't have a Shin-Yong-Ka. I can't operate that way. I've given that up in life. That's part of the sacrifice that I do my best to live with, and I'm happy to be that way.
But you have your study, your work as a priest has brought you to Europe.
Yes, I got to Europe. I got to the Philippines with the students here. I've been to Europe. Well, the first time I went to Europe was with my sister. My sister was an army nurse during the Vietnam War. This is my Maymay, and her name is Katie. And Katie and I were born rather close together. I'm her Gaga. So people, when we were children, a little bit thought we were twins. Katie was very strong and healthy, very kind of tall girl, you know, and I was always short and a little bit sickly. And so we looked like twins, and we actually did. And one of our games was we'd walk up to people at the grocery store, in the grocery store with Mom nearby, and we'd say, "Do we look like twins? We're twins." And people say, "Yeah, you look like twins." Mom would say, "You are not twins. Stop telling people that lie." Yeah. So now you're in Europe. Okay, good. So Katie, telling all these travel stories. Katie, being a nurse in Vietnam during my college years, when I graduated from college, Katie flew home. I said a moment ago she was very close to me. We were very close, and Katie came with my family to my graduation from college. And 2 months before, or 3, she told me, "I'm going to come with something in an envelope to give you when you graduate. And that's going to be a plane ticket to go back to Germany with me. I want you to accept this gift. I don't want you to argue with me about it. I can afford it. It's okay." And that's what happened. So I got a passport in my senior year of college, and I waited for Katie's gift. And she came, and my family was there. And 3 or 4 days later, we flew to Heidelberg. So we were in Heidelberg for 3 weeks, and 1 week she got off of work from the hospital where she worked as an army nurse, and we went to Rome, and that was my first time in Rome. And then, as I was mentioning to you, Andrew, the other day, I had the chance to go back to Rome for what we call a refresher course in theology. Most priests, most shenfu who preach sermons at Jiangdali, and this is not so easy to do, especially every year, every week. And so it's really good that we can take a course to kind of go back to school again, like a doctor who might attend workshops for the latest in surgical or whatever, pharmaceutical advice and so on.
Right.
So I did go back to Rome, gosh, that was in 1998, 1999, and I was there for 6 weeks. I attended class all but for a few days. And I enjoyed it very much, and I gained weight. I was eating all this wonderful Italian pasta. But I came back, of course. Those were the days just before Fuda became very strict about teachers manipulating the school calendar. So I missed the first week of class. I made up for the classes,
of course,
but I didn't have to fill out forms. I just told the chair of the department, I think it was Mr. Nash at the time, I'm not quite certain.
Professor Nash, yes.
Yeah, Professor Tom Nash was with us many years.
Author of Discovering Language, yes.
Yeah. For linguistics classes, you may have used his book, and he's well known. So Tom is his first name.
So at the time you asked him and it was okay?
Sure, that's right, that's right. But that was my other time in Rome, 1 week. No, 6 weeks, pardon me, in Rome, yeah.
And so your work brought you back to Europe?
Well, you can say that, that's true. It did, yeah.
Wonderful. Okay, one more question and we'll get to Father Bauer's photographs.
Okay.
Is there a question?
Yeah, a question from Jia Yi.
嘉义.
Yeah.
Hi, 嘉义.
Hi, Jai. All right.
She says she's really curious about what habits are you really familiar with, and even when you come back to your hometown, you cannot get used to that why your hometown people don't do.
So she's concerned, your student seems to be concerned about habits, ways of thinking maybe, ways of acting that are a little different. Boy, that's not so easy. Because our lifestyle in Taiwan, my lifestyle at least, is rather similar to the lifestyle of most professors or shenfu in the United States. It's not a heck of a lot different. I mean, if I were there, I would probably have a car, I'd probably drive to school, that kind of thing. If I were not a priest, I would be married, I presume, and have children, which would be a wonderful blessing in life too. I do miss that. But I'm in Taiwan, so my life is that of a live right on campus kind of shenfu. If I'm late for class, I'm really buhaoist because I just walk 5 or 10 minutes, I'm there. Dr. Murphy has to come in from Taishan, or Dr. Tammy or Dr. Katie Leo all the way from Hsinchu or Taipei. I have no excuse. I live right here. I wish if the student would like to ask the question in a different way, we still have time later, maybe I could do a better job. This is a young woman,
Yes,
student.
Jiang Yi, yes.
Yeah, I'd like to help you out there. Did you understand a different question?
I think I understand it the way that you did.
Okay.
Yes, but I think it's okay, Jai. You can ask it again, and we'll have some time later. We'll get to your photographs
Sure.
first.
Okay, if that's okay.
So Jai, you could feel free to ask the question.
I think you'll like the pictures. I hope you will. They're colorful at least.
Okay,
This is a funny one.
Well, this is a photograph. I like this one
Yeah,
because
I do too.
yes, of me, Professor Murphy, and Father Bauer. My father's from the English department. And this is during actually just a few months ago.
That was just this pretty recently.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
recently, yeah.
Yeah, I put on a little weight since then. I like that picture.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's continue with the next photo.
That wasn't Shaobali, you understand, right?
That was in Shabali. Yeah.
Okay, good. Here we are.
Yes, so Father, would you like to tell us what's happening in the photo?
Sure. This is one of several photos I have, pictures with the Yuan Shuming students from Fuda, with whom I traveled to the Philippines. So when Andrew asked me to come on your program and said the topic was travel, my first response to Andrew was, gosh, I don't really travel very much. Dr. Murphy does. And Dr. Leo's always going to these conferences all over the world. I don't do that. I do different things.
Right.
So, but I have been to the Philippines 4 times in the last 5 years, each time with a different group of Fuda students. So these are Yuan Shuming. These are Aboriginal students. You may know them. The young lady in the middle uses the name Muni, M-U-N-I. I'm ashamed of myself. I cannot tell you her full name according to her original Aboriginal culture. She has a long name, you know, and Mooney is part of that longer name. She's a beautiful young gal, as you can see, and she works, I think she's full-time here at Fuda as one of the directors of student activities for the Aboriginal students. And the other 2 you can see, they were with us in the group. There were 10 or 11, or maybe 12 of the Aboriginal students in our group, and I went with the group to Holy Name University, and they presented a seminar every day. They worked so hard, I was so proud of them, teaching students at Bohol at the university about Aboriginal culture and about the history of Taiwan from their perspective.
Yes.
And they did it all in English, by the way. They worked so hard. Yes, thank you. So you can see there are several, we got stranded at the airport in Manila. Our plane time changed. It's okay.
Yeah.
We all had a good time. We just drank a little more coffee, that was all. So while we were waiting for our plane, we took some pictures, and you can see we're wearing our red t-shirt. We had red and yellow t-shirts. You'll see later maybe some of the pictures may show the yellow. We would all agree on the same color for the day. So with the behold, here we are with the yellow. So now this is in the gymnasium, one of the gymnasiums at Holy Name University. Here, while I'm here, if you don't mind, since we have Holy Name students there, may I show you this nice shirt that they gave me? Here, I'm going to cover my face with it. Here we are right there. I think Tina can get that on the camera. Holy Name University. Holy Name, there we are.
Holy Name.
Okay, so it's a little smaller university than Fuda, not as large as we are. And some of the facilities similar to Fuda, are older.
Mhm.
Some of the buildings are older and some are newer, just as the same situation exists for all schools in the world. Same thing there. So the gymnasium that we were in, the students were playing basketball, but they had some kind of an assembly, and they introduced us. And then later, the students had some big basketball games, what I'm remembering here. But as you can see, I was lucky to get this picture. With some, of course, they are Filipinos. They speak English just like that, you know. And they were curious about where I was from, the United States, and so on.
And do they conduct all their courses at the Holy Name University in English?
My understanding is the answer is yes.
Mhm.
Now they, however, probably do have the courses through the sociology department and intercultural studies. And of course there are Yuan Chuming in the Philippines.
Mhm.
There are different Aboriginal groups there, as there are in Australia,
Yes.
all through this part of the world.
Mhm.
So they could have other languages that function in those other courses.
Mhm.
I would not be too surprised.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Of course.
Right.
Yes.
Here's one goofing off. I feel a little bit badly that I've forgotten most of the names of these terrific students. That is, now, we were at a restaurant in the evening a couple nights. There were kind of nice restaurants.
Mhm.
So we worked during the day, and the whole group was there. We're goofing off. You'd think I was there with these three young chicks, some old priest fooling around, but the whole group was there with us. And most of the time, 2 or 3 of the Filipino professors would be with us too. At least quite often they were.
Mhm.
And I think that's real water in back of us, as far as I remember. Now that's real water too. Again, one of those Yuan Chuming guys. Boy, could he eat a lot. This fellow, in the mornings, we would all do everything together, you know. So we all ate together constantly, and the usual breakfast, I couldn't get the students to eat in the student cafeteria. They wanted to go to McDonald's
Mhm.
or a similar fast food. The Filipinos have their, I would say they're like a cousin of McDonald's, a different name of the
Right.
restaurant. So we would alternate, but he and another 2 or 3 of these real tall Aboriginal Yuan Chuming Fuda students, they would order 3 breakfasts. And they would eat everything, they would share everything. Everyone had their breakfast, but they needed 3 to be full. That's really true. Well, you can see, he's a pretty big fella.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice guy,
Yeah.
very bright sun. We were right on the water. The whole is an
Beautiful.
island,
It's beautiful.
yes. Now this beach would be probably maybe an hour away by bus from the university. Yes, now we did have an overnight stay at a resort. That was, pardon me, at the end of the workshop, and students, we did like it. We liked it very much there.
Yes.
Here we are, good. This is kind of a working shot. It's not very well balanced, but you can see that they are putting up, before the Filipino students for Holy Name arrived in this large room, a room maybe twice the size of this. You could sit about 40 people in there, I think. Our students were there. We're getting ready in a moment. You may see their beautiful Yuan Chuming costumes. Maybe costume is not the right word. Their garb that they use for ceremonies. And the students would give whole lectures about the material, about the different kinds of stones, the colors, the fabric, and why the men wear this and why the women do this, and when in the years for different ceremonies they would wear such things. It was very interesting. And by the way, they had to bring all that, you know, on the airplane. You can imagine how heavy it all was.
Yes.
And some of them have large, kind of a headdress, you know, you'll see. And the men too, they brought clothing for me. There may be a picture you may see. They had clothing for me to model. Well, I was happy. And the president of Holy Name University, Father Estepe, Professor Father, he also modeled the same Yuan Chuming clothing. Yeah.
Okay, so Father, we're going to take a break for a few
Good.
minutes.
Great.
So students will be right back. Stay tuned.